Thank you, Anastasia. This is our first question from the audience. This year, a new initiative of the Local Affairs Portfolio has been the Awareness of Sexual Assault and Prevention Committee. How will you continue this initiative, and how will you ensure the involvement of the entire campus? And this goes to Galen first.
One thing, this is a great initiative. I think that Arden, who's sitting in the audience now, has done a great job to bring this issue up. I think it's important to make sure that while students are aware about the safety, are safety conscious and aware of what they have at their disposal to ensure that that safety continues. I think there's a number of things around campus that I think we should really continue to encourage. This initiative is one of them, looking at auditing safety around campus, around the city, to make sure that the sexual assault prevention is happening. I think we have a number of great services that should continue to be supported on campus, such as the Safe Walk, late night bus service, and also continue to support the police services on campus. Where other universities have security guards, we actually have special constables who are able to effectively deal with safety on campus. So, thank you.
Thank you, Galen. Anastasia?
Well, the ASAP committee is one of the things that I'm most excited to work on this year. I think that the fact that we've seen a rise in sexual assault on campus, and a committee has been necessary to really look at this problem, means that we need to look at the way students are interacting and how they think of each other on campus. So there's that aspect, but it's just basic things like better lighting on campus, and monitors on the buses. Transit can be incredibly unsafe when you're dealing with 60 drunk people on a bus. More late night buses, more frequent, more stops, just simple things like that, meaning women are around more people more often, and spending less time walking home in the dark.
Thank you, Anastasia. Jeff?
Thanks, Katz. I think it's really important. This committee has done a really good job in organizing itself, getting together. I think the best part of the committee is that it has reached out to local organizations, and it's getting the perspectives from both campus and both on and off campus. This is an issue that is happening on campus as well as the students are walking home. So we first need to be aware of that and both address things on and off campus. I agree with Stacy that new lighting is probably necessary in many different areas, and a really good way to look into that would be looking at new technologies where lighting can be left on almost all the time that it's dark while saving electricity. So I think we definitely need to explore things like that and exploit newer technologies. So it would not cost extra money, but it would increase safety. And this, as I said, this is an extremely valuable committee. We need to make sure it stays on and stays going. Thank you.
This question's for Anastasia first. Do you feel it is worthwhile to attend city council meetings? How will you liaise with the city?
Oh, absolutely. Just given some of the stuff that's gone on in the municipality thus far, getting those plans for that glorious new library, which is extremely important. It's a community service, but we're going to possibly be losing one of a cultural center in Guelph. Family thrift store the city is saying that they are going to be relocated. They said that about Change Now, and look where we are. Worthwhile. How will I liaise? I'll be going to town council meetings. I'll be setting up meetings with the mayors and the ward councilors and things like that to ensure that student voices are heard and to ensure that there is constant dialogue with the city, so I can relay what their decisions are to the students, get student feedback, and relay that to them and ensure that that voice is heard.
Thank you, Anastasia. Jeff?
Thank you. I think, yes, it is important for the local affairs commissioner to be very visible at city council meetings and to city council staff and elected representatives. But there are issues at times where the city council will be doing nothing of interest to the campus and to students. I've seen a couple of the agendas, and they've been things like zoning changes, and that really isn't something that the local affairs commissioner should probably be spending a lot of their time on, considering there are other very important issues. Although, as Stacey said, there have been things lately that have been very important, including major changes to the downtown core. So it's really something that the communications commissioner, the local affairs commissioner has to figure out what is important to students and what is not important to students, what is not the best use of their time, communicate with students and try to figure that out, and then make the judgments accordingly.
You want to start by posing the question again, please?
Do you feel it worthwhile to attend city council meetings? How will you liaise with the city?
Well, I've said it a couple times throughout this time. I think that the most important issue right now is transit. That takes up a ton of the time for the local affairs commissioner, and so it's sort of my main point with transit is to try to make it more efficient to deal with so that there can be more time to do stuff like this, which is represent students. We make up a sixth of the population of the city. I want to make sure that I have a clear relationship, that the people within city council know me. There's going to be a municipal election in November 2010, which isn't actually during our time in office, but if we can prove to city council that we can unite students to vote, then we can have them against the ropes and say, hey guys, an election's coming up, you need to represent what we want to say. And I think Jeff made a great point about our job being going to city council and seeing what's important and then bringing it back to students so that they know what's important as well.
Thank you. This next question is for Jeff first. In the off-campus community, many residents express concerns about inappropriate student behavior, for example, noise, urinating on lawns after parties, etc. How will you respond to the community concerns about the lack of civility among University of Guelph students?
Thanks, Jeff. I think it is important that we make sure that students are behaving themselves outside of campus. We need to make sure students know how they should be behaving. Although at the same time, we need to remind residents of the city that students are allowed to live off campus. There's nothing, you can't just ban students from an area. I know we've seen that try to happen. And students will be acting differently. They may have different goals. They may have different priorities. But it's also that's something that needs to be addressed to some residents of the community. And it's also really important to help landlords communicate what students' responsibilities are. And as well, the local affairs commissioner should be communicating that to students. Let students know what they have to do, what their responsibilities are, and make sure they're not going over and above that, but make sure they are completing those responsibilities.
Sorry.